Welcome to Modern Traders. I'm Ben. I'll be your host. Before we get started, I want to invite you over to the free Discord. We're going to do a daily watch list, call outs, free resources, news catalysts, FDA approvals, what have you. And we put a lot of work into trying to get some good info out there for you. So if you get anything out of it, please remember to like and subscribe. Give us a little love with the YouTube algo. So on today's Weed Watch Weekly, we're going to add to the growing mountain of evidence that the federal legalization is right around the corner, and it couldn't be more obvious. But first, I'm going to let some articles just scroll by and argue the point for me a little bit. This was an important one this week. This spiked a lot of the companies up on Thursday, including the one we're talking about today. Just every time you see an article like this, it just adds to the sentiment and the hype for the sector. That's bound to happen when we see the federal legalization. This one's important as far as I'm concerned. Amazon definitely has an unfair amount of power in the government. And since weed was initially illegalized by one powerful rich man, stands to reason that it could easily be made legal again by an even more powerful and richer man. But this Wall Street Journal article on Tilray's U.S. expansion blueprint makes both of the main points of this video. One of which is the fact that a lot of companies are doing this. They're buying up stakes in companies that have current state-to-state legalized businesses in medical and recreational pot throughout America, and they do have revenue streams and they are making income and profit. But if they happen to be listed on the NASDAQ, they're prohibited from making money selling weed in the U.S. because of the federal laws. So companies like Tilray that are dumping in a whole ton of their investors' money into expanding into U.S. companies so that they have the foothold when the legalization comes through seems to prove the point perfectly to me that they know something that we don't, that they're pretty certain that this is going to happen if they're willing to put millions of dollars into it already just to be positioned. Now, I've been very vocal about my opinion that this is just a really underrated opportunity that doesn't come along very often for retail investors, that actually gives us the opportunity to be able to have the chance of retiring rich on a very small initial investment. That's something that's typically reserved for the big hedge funds and the big institutional investors, but is due to the circumstances of federal legalization has been presented to us as the little guy, and it's our responsibility not only to take advantage of it, but to put in the research to find the companies that have the best chance at longevity and beating their competitors. And this article also argues for Tilray's ability to do that. I mean, they're already going to have a huge foothold across the United States. They have about 21% of MedMen in the near future when the federal legalization starts, and they're able to get away with it, making money that way, and continue to be listed on the NASDAQ as part of their previous AFRIA merger. And on top of their credentials of already having infrastructure in place when legalization comes through, which will give them a leap above their competitors. They're also already a pretty massive company to begin with. I mean, this is a company that's operating in 20 countries around the world selling products. And it's one of the biggest manufacturers in Canada already, well established. Not to mention a well established track record of being at much higher levels than current price levels. Taking a quick look at the graph, you can see that just at the beginning of the year, they ran up from $10 to over $60 in the course of a very short time span, due mostly to the Reddit Wall Street bets fueled hype. But it shows that it has the ability to run very, very quickly. And when people see it happen in the past, they expect it to happen again in the future. So you can jump on that trend if you're able to catch it. I mean, this is really a lot more long-term investment, speculative play, depending on the federal legalization to make real profit. But it also has a history of presenting opportunities for day trades along the way. Now, a lot of less experienced and less knowledgeable investors have been scared away from Tilray because of the constant downtrend after that initial spike up earlier in the year. But if you pay attention, they're just now approaching that same $10 support level that they were at right before that popped off. And this is a very interesting time to be establishing positions, in my opinion. And you can see it did have last Thursday on pretty minimal news, it did spike up about 10%. Or a whole dollar, which provides quite a bit of profit for option contracts. So, like I said, a lot of opportunities for day trading this company along the way, but it's going to be the kind of company that you really want to be holding on to for the long haul, using the day trade money to add to your position so that when that legalization does come through, The initial pop off would be a huge profit for anyone involved. But then if you can get into a company like this one that's able to have some longevity, you'll have that initial huge profit, and then you'll be able to keep with the company and watch it grow over the years. And that's the real play here, guys. This is an opportunity to actually make some wealth if you don't squander it. But regardless, definitely something to have on the radar. Till next time, I'm Ben, Smarter Traders. Thanks for stopping by.